This is our next installment of the Virtues of Manhood, because I firmly believe that manhood is guided by certain virtues. Today's virtue is service. We'll get right to it after this.
In a culture that scoffs at honor, you can rise up to lead and to shine. It's time to be the best man that you can be. This is the Manlihood Mancast. Here's your host, Josh Hatcher.
Gentlemen, welcome back to the Manlihood Mancast. I'm Josh Hatcher. I'm your host. If you like the work that we're doing here on the podcast, I want to encourage you, please. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're on Apple or iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, please make sure that you like our podcast, that you follow it, that you leave a review, and that you share it with somebody else who you know will get quite a bit out of it. Also, don't forget that you can support what we're doing at our website if you go to manlihood.com, and if you click on store, it's a link up in the menu on the top. You can purchase some of our t-shirts. You can also purchase some of our books and our resources that we've got for you. We've got some really cool new t-shirts in the store right now that are some cool skull designs that say "Man the Heck Up" on the back. We've got a Braveheart looking design that says freedom. I want to encourage you, please check these out, because I do think that we can help to spread the message of masculinity as a good thing. So make sure you go to our website, manlihood.com/store. As we are unpacking all of these virtues of manhood, we've talked about grit. We've talked about honor and other virtues. We've got more virtues on the way. Today's virtue is one that a lot of people overlook, and that virtue is service. You know, I know that service is not fun all of the time. We think about service and we think, that sounds like a lot of work. That sounds like I'm going to have to be humble. That sounds like I'm going to have to clean up after people. And yeah, sometimes that's what it is. A lot of times, that's what it is. But I want to talk to you about how service ties in to being a man. Guys, the first thing is that to serve is more noble than to dominate. A lot of times we think about our role as a man and we think about wanting to lead. We think about wanting to be in front. We think about wanting to excel. And the automatic assumption is that that includes to dominate, to be in charge, to be the boss, to be top dog, to be alpha. And I'm not saying that we don't want to strive to be the king, right? But honestly, I think that a more noble role for us is the role of knight, the role of an honorable servant who does the right thing. Yes, we can win. Yes, we can kick tail. Yes, we can do amazing, awesome things and build an amazing reputation. We can dominate in that we can be the best in our field and at everything we do. That can happen. But I think that it happens with this degree of humility that recognizes what service is. You do not live just for yourself. You do not exist just for yourself. You exist to help others. And when you do that, you establish yourself as a leader. You establish yourself as the person in charge. Honestly, that's what I believe about leadership, is that it starts with service. If you want to truly lead someone, you have to care about that person, and you have to invest in that person. You have to do things for that person that you're trying to lead. You know, I think about a man's relationship in his family. Your job isn't just to bark orders at your wife or to bark orders at your children. Your job is to serve them. Your job is to teach them. Your job is to guide them and to help them. You don't do that from this perspective of, I'm the top dog, you have to listen to me. No, you do that from the perspective of, here, let me show you how to tie your shoes, buddy. The same principle applies in every kind of leadership. You lead best when you serve, and when you recognize that to serve is to lift others up, to build others up, to help them, to guide them. Yes, you may be the top dog, Or you might be on the bottom. You may be on the bottom of the pile, and you can still lead by serving, setting an example, guiding. I firmly believe that you don't need a title to lead. I know that there have been several positions that I've worked, several places that I've been where I was not the top dog. I was not the manager. I was not the supervisor. I was the new guy. But I walked into that situation and I was the guy who I could have walked in and I could have just done my job, done what was expected of me. But I saw that maybe there was some failure of leadership, or maybe leadership had their hands full. And so I just, from the back, gently, kindly served and helped and guided, set an example, and I led from the bottom. We can all do that. You don't have to have a title or be the boss to lead. The other thing about service that I think often gets forgotten, because in the moment, service is not always rewarding. But I do believe firmly that there is a reward for those who serve. I think that when you serve, when you help, when you give, when you are humble, and when you help people at that level, you invest in people. When you do that, I believe there are rewards that come your way. The first reward is in your reputation. That comes back to you. It's in your relationships with people. Those rewards come back to you. I also believe that those things that you do that are serving others get noticed. And when it comes time for a promotion, you're going to get noticed. And if you've worked there for a long time and you've served faithfully and you're not getting noticed, maybe it's time to find a place where you are noticed and recognized. If you are serving and you are faithful with it, and not just telling yourself that you're serving and you're faithful with it, because I know a lot of people who do that. I've poured my heart into this. No, you haven't. You've given 1% of what you're capable of. You have done 1% of what you can do. And you keep saying you poured your heart into it. No, what you did is you went home and then you worried all night long and you slept poorly because you didn't do a good job, and you counted that as your service, and that's not service. But if you've really served and you've served faithfully, I firmly believe that those rewards will come back to you. Even if it's from the eternal and the cosmic perspective, when you put good out into the world, good does come back for you. Maybe not instantly. You might have to go through some hardship. You might have to endure some things that you don't want to endure. But I firmly believe that if you invest service into the world, it will come back to you. I have seen it time and time again, where I have helped people, and then they in return helped me when I needed it later down the road. Or even a stranger helped me, because I believe that it works that way. Sometimes that reward isn't from the person that you helped. Sometimes that reward comes from another place. The other reward that happens is this satisfaction. There is a satisfaction that we can get from service, from helping others, from knowing that we have made a difference. That is honestly the most rewarding thing. Even the work that I'm doing here at Manlihood, I have poured money, time, energy, thought, effort into this. Honestly, I don't get a whole lot back right now. I do believe that it's going to grow to the place where this will become my full-time gig someday. But I don't do it for that. I don't invest in Manlihood because I want to get something back. I invest in it because I believe that I'm here to serve you. I'm here to help you. I'm here to build you up. I'm here to teach you the things that people have taught me. I'm here to talk to you about my experiences and to tell stories and to be an example. And I'm not even a perfect example or the greatest example, so I'm also going to point you to other examples. And I do that because it's in my heart to serve you. I believe wholeheartedly that it comes back, and you know what it does? It comes back even in ways that are not a paycheck. It comes back to me in ways where I can look at somebody and I see them making a decision that they wouldn't have made if I hadn't served. I get messages from guys all the time and they're like, look, I know I don't post in the group or don't comment on your stuff. I don't even really listen to your podcast because podcasts are boring. I don't read your books. I don't like reading books. But just seeing the work you do, it makes me want to be a better man. So thank you. You cannot believe and understand the rewards that brings into my life. And I'm telling you, it's the same thing. You know, parenting is a job that you are serving your children, especially when they're young. You're wiping butts. You're cleaning up vomit. You're working your butt off to put food on the table. You're chasing them around. You're putting up with crying fits and all kinds of situations, all the way through teenage years and even into young adulthood. You're serving. And there are times when it feels thankless. There are times when it's hard. But there are also moments that are so rewarding that you can't even imagine, where you're like, you know what? This was worth every dirty diaper that I changed to see you do this, to see you grow in this area. You know, my daughter's having a baby. That right there, that's probably all of the more reward that I can think of for what she's put me through. Just to think about that joy and those rewards that come back to you. Guys, I do believe that this is really important when it comes to understanding service too, and that's kindness. The golden rule. If you've ever heard of the golden rule, it actually is based on something that Jesus taught, where he said, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So service is where you say, I want this to be done to me. I want to be treated this way. I want people to talk to me this way. So that's how I'm going to talk to them. That's how I'm going to treat them. Regardless of how they respond, regardless of whether they ever do it back, I'm going to do what I want to be done to me. And showing that kindness, that selflessness, that love for people, that is really the heart of service. You know, there are times when I can't stand people. There are times when people irritate me. There are times when I might even in my mind, or sometimes even out loud, say, I hate people. I hate people. I can't stand people. And honestly, that's not the truth. It's my frustration coming out. And sometimes we do that. We let our frustration come out. But the honest truth there is that if we love people and if we care about people, that is the heart of service. And if you want to be kind to somebody, it starts there. You know, when you go to Aldi's and you have to put the quarter in the grocery cart so that you can get the grocery cart out of the rack and drive it around. You know, one of the things that I do, and I'm not saying this to toot my own horn because I am not perfect, okay? But I do this. I bring the cart back and I leave the quarter in it, because I can't tell you how many times I've gone to Aldi and not had a quarter and had to scrounge around in the corners of my car to find a quarter. And then one day somebody says, oh, here's a quarter. I thought, thank you. So when I do it and I have a quarter, I leave it because I know it's going to help somebody else. And if somebody walks away with a quarter, it costs me a quarter. Probably over time, in my whole lifetime, all of the times that I've shopped at Aldi and left a quarter, I've probably spent maybe $25. And it's worth it because I know and believe that that kindness has paid forward. And it comes back to me later. It does. When I need kindness, someone extends it to me. You know, when you see somebody stuck on the side of the road, you pull over and you ask if you can help. You see somebody hitchhiking and you know that it's a safe situation where you're not going to get axe murdered or something. Yeah, give him a ride. You see a young man who needs a mentor, you invest. That kindness, that giving spirit is the heart of service. And I believe that it's in all of us, and a lot of people will talk about it, and they'll all say, oh, I'm so kind, I'm kind. But honestly, are you? And if I'm honest, there are times when I should be and I'm not. There are times when I would rather seek comfort. There's times when I would rather just take care of mine. But we all have to sacrificially give sometimes. We have to make the sacrifice to do the kindness, because the kindness is invested into people, and that kindness eventually comes back. And I believe that that's at the heart of what service is. And I think that service is a very manly virtue. If you look all throughout history, think of the most manly people that you can think of. And I think of things like soldiers who are serving our country. I think of firemen. I think of police. I think of people who have gone over and above to invest and help and serve. That is really, honestly, the heart of masculinity is service. It's the heart of a good father. It's the heart of a good husband. It's the heart of a good leader. It's the heart of all of the things that we want to and that we ascribe to be. Service is at the core of it. Well, I just wanted to give you guys something to think about. I wanted to give you guys something to process, to think, am I serving people the way that I should be? Am I serving to the degree that I should be? And if you're not, make some adjustments And you can't necessarily become super server overnight. It's going to be small increments. So find one person, one small act of kindness, one person that you can invest in and serve, one way that you can be a leader and a servant and a helper to the people around you today. Just find one way. And when you've done one way, tomorrow you can do two. And the more that you do it, the more, honestly, the more humble that you do and the harder and even sometimes more disgusting and debasing things that you do to help, they actually can build you up. They can actually set you up in a way that people know and recognize and understand, and it builds your reputation so that you are known as someone who cares, someone who loves, someone who serves. This is valuable, men. It's very valuable, and it's one of the cores of what masculinity truly is. Anyway, guys, I really appreciate you listening. Please remember, share this podcast with somebody. We've got more interviews coming out every week, so check those out. We've also got some special things that we're going to be having kind of come in. We're going to do some special episodes where we interview somebody and maybe kind of split that interview up in a series. And I know that, we did one of those with Lou Costa, who passed away. And being able to share some of his thoughts with people was really a neat experience. And I've heard from a lot of people that they actually really enjoyed that. I know that I've got some other men that I know that I want to interview. I want to hear their stories, and I want to get that out there. On top of some really great interviews. Season 5 is packed full of some amazing interviews, guys. So make sure that you tune in every week to hear those. And if you are appreciating the work we're doing, please, again, leave a comment, review, subscribe, share it. Help us get the word out about manlyhood and what we're doing. I love you. I care about you. I'll see you next time.
If you want to be a better man, check out our website, manlyhood.com, for blogs, videos, and more from our Manlyhood team. Men, you can also join our private Facebook group, Manlyhood Man Cave, where you can meet up with a band of brothers who will challenge you and help you on your journey of manhood. This episode is produced by Hatcher Media for manlyhood.com. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes, YouTube, or wherever you're listening to the show. Tune in again for more of the Manlyhood Mancast.